this civil harassment restraining order from a racist DACA government employee, 5 years violating my free speech, saying that I slandered her name. This order has been closed. And my community needs to know that so that the cops will stop harassing me. Because this DACA government employee has a cop boyfriend that's been harassed, and their brotherhood harasses me illegally. As you can see, this was not even a civil harassment restraining order, but rather a preventative harassment restraining order, because I had put this DACA government employee in my lawsuits previously, and you're not allowed to file a restraining or a civil harassment restraining order against somebody that has already put you in their lawsuits for making hate crimes against them. And as you can see, they did not properly serve me. So the federal court also stated that that order was bogus. I'm also on disability for PTSD for being a victim of crime survivor, and recently Judge Walk, who's now a criminal judge and not a civil judge, he has posted on this page that previous lawsuits that I have against the county and police, and trying to gaslight the very fact that I have PTSD for being a victim of crime survivor, getting paid from government for being a survivor of incest rape for my older sister, and rape in my apartment in 2005 from Pierre Warner, and my incest child fingers raped his older sister, Gina Pickett Prince, who they have covered because Gina's LGBTQ firefighter daughter, Nicole Herrera, is part of their brotherhood, and her friends were my old drug trafficking neighbors related to cops, Zuniga Garcia Hernandez Figueroa, Campbell Miller Blades, Zuniga and the Ponce family, and their Castro Padilla Diaz Reyes family that commit HIPAA fraud and harass me, and were hired at Northern Valley Indian Healthcare, where the DA assigned me to a Heather Stewart that stated that I had the right to my free speech without punishment. Additionally, they ignored my counter civil restraining order against this DACA government employee, and they lied and said that it was incomplete, and then they arrested me for it, for filing a counter civil restraining order, CV 2020-1157, and a lawsuit 321 CV 00994. But as you can see, this case has been closed. Additionally, the DA of El Dorado County asked for my help to take somebody down and put their children under custody at CPS. Ironically, you can view that on my Civil Liberties Law Icon page. Apparently Yodel County didn't like that. Additionally, I have this letter from my payee, Dave Egoff, where he's advocating for me and verifying that my community is a bunch of criminals. Ironically, since he supports the lawless team game made from terrorizing me, and he has covered the Campbell Miller Blades and a slew of riffraff in my community, yet in this letter that you can see on my Civil Liberties Law Icon, he verifies that they are a bunch of criminals, and that I am a victim of crime survivor, and that he is my disability payee for PTSD for being a victim of crime survivor. This is my lawsuit. I taught myself law and have been suing for years, and this lawsuit, I can get it to view properly, states that the defendants, the racist DACA government employee, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Judge Walk, Yolo County, Davis, my abusive ex-retired NFL Raider Lester Hayes, the United States and their lawless team game, their treason team game, that they are protected municipalities allowed to be corrupt, malicious, to the point of making grave procedural decisions and errors on people's lives. You can see that. They're allowed to be malicious and excessive to jurisdiction and corrupt. The courts are allowed to act corruptly and maliciously because they are immune and protected municipalities. So you can view that. That's on my lawsuit 321-00994. So taxpayers are funding that. So if they can fund it for me to be against my civil liberties, and I'm getting paid from government because I am a victim of crime survivor, meaning that I should have won all of my lawsuits. If they can do that to me, they can do that to anybody. Ironically, Kamala Harris passed net neutrality bill for free speech, meaning that I should have never been punished for utilizing my free speech as a victim of crime survivor here on my lyricsess.1 page, where I have had every right to not only protect my rights to safety, privacy, peace, justice, due process, and free speech, and right to housing and medical care, to which I've been blacklisted from all of those things, and I'm on disability for PTSD, meaning that I've never had a felony. I'm not a criminal. I'm on disability for being a victim of crime survivor. Of rape, incest rape, domestic violence from my abusive ex-retired NFL Raider, and Davis police brutality in 2007 for risking my life for my black ex-boyfriend, Britton James, who is friends of the Campbell Miller Blades, who are my old drug neighbors, and on the DL, he was connected to them. And they are related to my molester, felon, child rapist, Ron Herrera, on Davis, California, Megan's Law, related to the media, that's very corrupt, related to cops Zuniga, Garcia, Lopez, Hernandez, and Figueroa, amongst many other cops. Cop Patel, related to UC Davis comedian Hassan Minaj. In addition, they used that false civil restraining order to spread lies about me. It was a civil order declaring that I was defamating and slandering and saying negative comments because this DACA government employee was lying and used a false police reports where she denied her criminal history. She denied child abuses, hate crimes, her DUI, disorderly, and drug felon family. And this is this DACA government employee's police report that is public information. A 1999 DUI, a 2011 disorderly, a drug felon family. Eric Durgan Sr., Vanessa Markle, and Reyes and Mercedes Durgan that committed HIPAA fraud with Northern Valley Indian Healthcare, where the DA assigned me and they were supposed to get me HUD housing, and they hired this DACA government employee's relative, Mercedes Durgan, to violate my HIPAA rights along with the Reyes families, and they've committed HUD fraud and blacklist me. Additionally, this DACA government employee has helped pass a bill a few years ago to help illegal immigrants stay at HUD housing as caregivers and take over Dignity Healthcare. And that's why Dignity Healthcare kicked me out of my own medical insurance. And now I can't get a healthcare provider that will assign me to specialists, and I have healthcare issues where I've been sick, severely ill for 4 years because of their damn voodoo, of course, from their lawless treason team game. But yet, I also need to have health care. Regardless of their voodoo, I still need to have a doctor to be able to diagnose me with whatever their cultism is trying to do to me, and to be able to heal me. And the racist Davis Clinic hires all of this DACA government employees' friends, and they spread lies about me, and so I can't properly get proper health care from there. And then Dignity Health, they are all sponsored from these criminal medias that also violate my civil liberties, along with the community care health centers, and I can't get health care anywhere. And now that they kicked me out of Dignity Healthcare, that had all of the specialists that were local to this region, where I could have gotten health care, they refused to give me health care because this DACA government employee that works for government health passed a bill that said that illegals are allowed to stay at HUD housing illegally and be caregivers paid from government, while I have been caregiving for my mother for years, not getting paid from government, and then kicked out of the very medical healthcare provider that was going to provide me with specialist doctors that I needed, just so that illegals could take over my health care plan and HUD housing, where they have discriminated against me, and I've been my mother's caregiver for years, at my mother's request. Additionally, I have told on them putting illegal spy cameras in the bathroom and the kitchen. That is absolutely illegal. It is against not only HUD policy, but it is against the law. And this documentary right here states the penal code that verifies that illegally placing spying devices in people's housing, or just anywhere in general, is against the law. Now, those same spying devices that you can find in light sockets, they're placing them at HUD housing in the bathroom to violate my privacy rights, pretending to be investigating me. You don't investigate somebody spying on their tits and dookie. Coincidentally, they also spy on me from the TV and their media hoe families, CBS, ABC, KCRA3, Leticia Ordez, married to DOJ Baeza, whose family David Lara's on Sacramento Megan's Law. He's also in that lawsuit 321 CV 00994, where the courts denied my cases as delusional and said, nobody's doing anything to you, nobody's saying anything about you, nobody's doing anything to you, and they denied everything as delusional. Judge Walk put previous appealed cases to deceive people, because I had appealed my case there, the 2020 CV 1043, that they ignored and wouldn't drop the case because it wasn't even legally served to me. It violated all of my rights, and it was meant to not only continue to blacklist me and to violate me, but it was used as a tool to harm me in the infrastructure system of the courts and the community, where they could not only blacklist me, but spread lies about me illegally and deceive people while covering my perpetrators and their drug pedo families that commit HUD fraud. And then some of them steal and lie and kill people, such as convicted teen boy rapists and murderers Enrique and Jesus Campos. And then the Diaz family also related to HUD, that won Grammy for chasing after my Grinch of Whoville with Original Symphony on my songstress.tatiana Instagram page, where they made a lawless team game that went global, made from chasing my talents, terrorizing me, and making an illegal experiment of living rent-free in my head, violating my privacy, and doing psychological warfare and witchcraft in a cult purge, treason totalitarian society that allows people to kill, steal, and destroy. And all of the churches have collaborated with them and do witchcraft. Additionally, some of their Padilla families that are connected to my abusive ex-retired NFL Raider Lester Hayes have connected to the Les twins and other riffraff in my community that have asked me for $500, making a harassment pranks to my Facebook page. The Padillas, Candy Padilla, they have hacked my page under a Monty Rippin on my Facebook page because Candy Padilla lives in Turlock, and they have hacked my page. And this is my YouTube page right here where I have all of these documentaries that verify their hate crimes, where they have collaborated with celebrities to torment me. In addition, I have made a radio station, Renditions Radio, where they have tried to suggest that I'm not allowed to have my free speech at the court system and say whatever unsavory thing that I would like to say about corrupt government. Again, that's my First Amendment right. And if you don't like American rights, then get out of my country, because I'm tired of funding illegals that take all of the resources anyways and violate every right that I have. If you go on Google, you will see that I have tons of lawsuits. All of these lawsuits I have filed as a pro se litigant with no help, and I have been blacklisted. I studied law, and I have been having ongoing lawsuits since 2013. Additionally, my lawsuits include a government official, Robert Rivas, and this is my cousin Natasha, and she's friends of Diane Rivas, related to government official Robert Rivas, who was the boss of this racist DACA government employee, and they have all covered the game, even though they killed my artist cousin, Michelle, who is the sister of Natasha. And we all grew up together in Richmond. This is Michelle's memorial page. And she was friends of David Bowie and Blondie. She did some modeling, and she was in a band called Sister Fortune Cookie many years ago. Ironically, many years ago, before the game. And, yeah, she's my older cousin. And, yeah, they partied many years ago. And Natasha is the mother of my military cousin, Secret Service, whose father is Dr. Boogie Langerston. And he is a celebrity hairstylist, BLM LGBTQ. And his godfather is Russell Simmons. He is a massive mogul and a part of the Diddygate scandal, as many celebrities are. Russell Simmons was at the top of the list of billionaires clubs. He paved the way for much of that industry in the Black Billionaires Club. He was the first. He co-founded Def Records and Def Comedy Jam. And Boogie Dr.Boogie, he covers my incest child fingers rapist older sister Gina Pickett Prince, and Nicole, whose friends are Stella raping Sarah Clark and Amanda Miller, her LGBTQ friends that chase after my music, along with all of these DACA government employees, family and friends, the Castro, Ponce, Padillas, Diaz, Reyes, Campbell Miller Blades, etc., and the UC Davis community and the Treason Team game. He covers all of them and the game because he is a socialist and doesn't care. Cares more about corruption and his money and his connections than he does about civil liberties. As you can see here, they put my page under a Monty ribbon because they have hacked my page. So I try to keep off of that page, but I put it under my name and try to control it in as much way that I can under Tatiana Grace. So I don't typically go there, and when I do, I control it as much as possible with posts, some of these civil rights posts that I have on Tanya Grace McDaniel Facebook page. In addition, James McClendon, his father is senior, and they're related to a bunch of celebrities. I dated James McClendon years ago, and here they are partying with MC Hammer in the Bay Area, and a bunch of their J-Mac family. Any case, McClendon Sr., he worked with the Funk Brothers and as a producer in Oakland, and is a part of the Treason Team game. I dated James for 4 years. The game made for more than 13 years of terrorizing my equal protection of rights. And this is my abusive ex, retired NFL Raider Lester Hayes, that I dated for 2 years, and he knew the racist cops that tried to kill me for risking my life for my black ex-boyfriend during racial profiling. He makes hate crimes against me for years, and I'm a survivor of rape, incest rape, NFL abuse, domestic violence, and Davis police brutality. And I'm on SSDI for PTSD, and I have ongoing lawsuits.
And you were very abusive to me, and you were a part of all these conspiracies. I don't recall you hitting me in the head and telling me to shut up. Love me. I got power.
It's important that I also post that, because that's Lester Hayes. He wants HOF for not being able to catch a football. He's the Stick'em King, and if you can't catch a ball, then you shouldn't be able to play a baller's game. Any case, and also a violent womanizer. And he has been in my lawsuits for years. He's connected to the Padillas and the Coca Herreras, related to my molester, felon, child rapist, Ron Herrera, related to cop Zuniga. And they all commit HUD fraud, the Zuniga's families, and Campbell Miller Blades, Reyes, etc., and have been covered while trying to violate my equal protected rights to be able to be on a HUD housing lease, discriminating against me for years. And I'm on disability for PTSD for being a victim, a crime survivor. And because these Mexicans think they own my entire fucking county, they have made damn sure that even though the DA assigned me to social workers that were assigned to put me on a housing lease, they wouldn't do it. Even though that was their assignment, Joe Gangle and Heather Stewart. and Chris Williams.
San Francisco. So I have cases there, and they're ongoing. And so I'm calling to see if you can tell me if my name has ever been on there as any type of investigation, or I've never had a felony. I've never had a 5150. I've never been jailed, but I do have lawsuits against the police because they brutalized me back in 2007 after I reported their family members that are felons. So they can make false reports against anybody that they don't like and just hold them there. No, I didn't say that. I have a case at Sacramento Federal Court and the Ninth Circuit in San Francisco. So I have cases there, and they're ongoing. And so I'm calling to...
Of the many documentaries I have of conversations that are A and B conversations, note to Vanguard that third party is not allowed. So when the city puts spying cameras in the bathroom, with the HUD maintenance Mexicans to not only try to humiliate me and violate my rights and cover their families and harass me to extreme levels. And as a victim, a crime survivor, I absolutely have the right to not only protect myself and in A and B conversations that are allowed as California law, it's third party that's not allowed. So when they hack my phone, when they hack the TV, when they hack my brain, when they put spying cameras in the walls and, in light sockets, those are the things that are not allowed. Just saying. And it's not acceptable for them to continue to harass me with their cop friends, because I have had numerous, like 30 lawsuits, and their families that think that they can continue to keep calling the police because they commit HUD fraud, and they want to pretend that I have a civil restraining order, which I do not have, that has been dropped, and I have sued, etc. They don't have anything on me. They just want to continuously terrorize me and violate my civil liberties unjustly. Now, because I am my mother's caregiver, I not only have the right to be located at my mother's residence, but I have the right not to be harassed. And that civil order stated that I had the right to be at my mother's residence. First of all, while all of these illegal Mexicans have stalked me, and they are related to HUD, and their Miss Islam took me off of HUD housing leases. Don't know if I'm on some of them, but she took me illegally off of some of them and said, oh, well, there's nothing available. You're supposed to keep somebody on a lease until something is available. But all of their families commit HUD fraud. And because they all have cop families, they think that they can knock on my mom's door and they think that they can continue to harass me. And that is absolutely illegal. Fascinatingly, Johnny Burris, civil rights attorney, that won't get anywhere near my cases because of the lawless treason game made from illegally violating me, well, he sued cop Figueroa, Anthony Figueroa, for beating a black man. Just wanted to remind Graciela and her Deborah relative that are cousins of the Castros and the Ponces. Yes, because don't they love black dick more than life? To the dismay of their Latino cops, Anthony Figueroa, that beat up a 25-year-old black man while crossing the street, and then beat him up naked when he got him to jail. So the Figueroas have a long history, Figueroa cops that go all up and down the coast and are connected to the Campos families and the Padillas and the Diazes. They have a long history of being racist against black people. Paul Figueroa of Oakland PD was demoted from chief of police for saying the N-word. And you know the word's not nice, right? Here's rapist Ronnie on Davis, California Megan's Law, related to cop Zunigas, Garcia, and Hernandez. Yes, and he was committing attempted murder back in, I think, 2020 or 2021. Yeah, you can view that at lyricsys.one. Well, his family also commit HUD fraud. Campbell Miller Blades, Peltier, and their relative Felicia used to work at the Sutter hospitals, and they have made prank phone calls to me, documented on lyricsys.one, telling me to keep my Ron Herrera appointments, prank calling my phone, harassing me when he molested me when I was 11, telling me to take off my panties, and his brother Amos, who has since passed, pulled off my swimsuit when I was 9. I've lived in Davis since I was 9 and do not have a criminal history, except that of risking my life for my black ex-boyfriend Brenton James after reporting cops drug pedo families at my old apartments at Pinecrest. And then they want to stalk me where my mom lives and stay there illegally. But they can, right? Why can they? When I need to be on a lease, in fact, really what I need is the $40 million. The $40 million that's owed to me. That's what I really need from the city. I shouldn't have to put like 10,000 more city claims and lawsuits that they collaborate with the federal court to deny all of them illegally as delusional. 215 CV 01113, where they continue conspiracies and nobody will petition my lawsuits when they deny all of them as delusional. Additionally, 213 CV 2653 docket 50, my exhibits that verify that my lawsuits are not only not frivolous or vexatious, but they are absolutely merited, and they have absolutely stated claims for relief. And the courts apparently have the right to be corrupt, malicious to the point of making grave